All right, so here we are with wine number 2, the Synergy. It's a 3-grape blend from Lodi, California, and a very exciting blend, Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, and Riesling. And you see these grapes coming from Lodi, which is, an area that is in Northern California, part of the Central Valley at the northern end. Now, it does benefit from the effect of the San Pablo Bay, the cool breezes that come in from the ocean, and they moderate the otherwise very extremely hot California temperature. The Central Valley's got a long history of grape growing. This is the breadbasket of California. In fact, it's 1 in 3 grapes in California are grown in the Central Valley. They've got a lot of expertise in making tremendous wines. Its reason being is because it's the ideal place. So not only do they get the benefit of the cool breezes from San Pablo Bay, that kind of Mediterranean climate, but it is also very hot and dry. The benefit of this is during the day after the cool ocean breezes have burned off, you get that full-on hot California sun, and that takes these grapes to full phenolic ripeness, which gives them all of the character that you would want. The best part about that is because they do have that influence of these cooling breezes, it's like putting the grapes in the fridge overnight. They're actually able to, as they ripen, preserve and maintain their acidity, which is so important in the grapes that we're growing here. The other thing about Lodi that I'll mention is the fact that because it's hot, because it's dry, ripe, healthy grapes, vintage to vintage to vintage, and you can always rely on the grapes from this region. And let's look at the grapes that make up this wine. Number 1, we got Chardonnay. You know what, I have to say that as I do these presentations and I talk to people about the Chardonnay grape, there's always a few people in the audience that groan and moan, and they're part of the ABC camp, the anything but Chardonnay camp. And that's a result of the heavy oaking in the New World through the late 80s and the 90s, and especially in California and Australia, of taking Chardonnay grape and putting it in new oak barrels and oaking, honestly, the bejesus out of the wine. The result is what happened is the oak became the dominant flavor profile, and it lost all of its varietal character, which is too bad, because people don't drink Chardonnay to drink oak. They drink Chardonnay to drink Chardonnay. And in my mind, and in my experience, in my many years of wine drinking, I have to say that I think Chardonnay is the absolute queen of grapes. When I look at white grape varietals, I can't think of a grape variety that eclipses its potential. It ripens well in all climates, whether it's a steely kind of green apple and pear, citrus-driven, Chablis style from northern Burgundy, or if you're looking something from Australia or the Napa or Sonoma Valley in California, where it's rich and round and buttery and full and quite brooding and large, carrying tremendous amounts of alcohol and handling all that kind of winemaking, malolactic fermentation in oak. This is really a tremendous grape. So to have the opportunity to introduce people to Chardonnay, and maybe it's not 100% Chardonnay, maybe there's some other grapes blended into it which will kind of ease their acceptance of it, this is a wonderful opportunity to turn people back onto Chard. The thing is in the Lodi climate, Chardonnay is ideal because the way it ripens in that heat is it gives this beautiful kind of peach and apricot stone fruit nuance in the mid-palate. You get a little bit of that kind of ripe tropical fruit at the finish, but still maintaining its bright acidity, giving it tremendous balance in length and ageability. Chardonnay is an amazing grape, and I really am excited for the opportunity for you to expose your clients to rediscovering this classic white grape. Then we've got Riesling. Riesling, for a sommelier, we want people to drink Riesling. Number 1, its racy acidity carries all degrees of residual sugar. So, whether you're looking at a Trockenbeeren Auslese from the Mosel Valley or the Weingal in Germany, or a simple off-dry wine from California, Riesling has all the stuff to carry that sweetness. And I know a lot of people, they talk about wines and we say, oh, this wine is off dry, it's got a little bit of residual sugar, and the common thought is, oh, I don't like sweet wines. Well, if you see me talk, when people say they don't like sweet wines, I have one word for those people, and I call them liars. Because, of course, you know, as a species, sugar, salt, fat, we crave it. And what they're missing and what they're not getting is when they have sweet wines, it's not backed by acid. So these wines seem flat and cloying on the palate. But when you take Riesling, which is the perfect grape for this off-dry application, and you back it up with its racy acidity, this becomes a wine that dances on your tongue and will carry any amount of residual sugar and still be tasty and fresh. So that is absolute Riesling's key. And the Lodi area, it gets really ripe. And the key thing about Riesling is that it can hang, and the Lodi region and Central California is ideal for this because the grapes can hang through their warm, dry summer, and as they develop all of their flavor and the phenolic ripeness, the Riesling acidity is maintained. So they always have balance. They're always very fresh and crisp and clean on the palate. An ideal grape in this blend. And then Pinot Grigio, what can we say? Pinot Grigio is, right now, the world's #1 white wine style. It is the go-to grape. I work in the trade. I'm serving the public all the time. And if someone walks up to the bar and they want a glass of white wine and you say, hey, how about a Pinot Grigio? It's a go-to for them. A huge crowd pleaser. Bright, fresh, crisp, clean, with pear and unripe stone fruit, citrus elements running through. It's just a beautiful, easy drinking white wine. And I think the acidity that Pinot Grigio brings to this blend, being backed up by the flavor profile of Riesling and Chardonnay, makes it an ideal accompaniment in this off-dry style. For those of you who have wine in your glass or who are following along, you know, please feel free to grab your glass right now. And we're looking at different pairs for this. For myself, when I look at Chardonnays of this type, one of my favorite pairs is buttered popcorn. It's the easiest way to go. Salt and vinegar, potato chips, another great match. And I think that the blend shows its real chameleon nature. So, you know, as I look at the wine on the nose, oh, it leaps out of the glass. It's floral, it's perfumed. I get all of this tropical fruit. Still, it's pinned down by this kind of bright citrus and green tree fruit nuance on the palate. Oh my God. Cold, bright and fresh, stone fruit. A little bit warmer, as I have mine now. Expansive and pleasing. A wine that is amazingly delicious all on its own. We have a little bit of buttered popcorn. I give that a taste. Salty, buttery. What's going to happen here? I try a little bit more of this wine. So delicious. That acid cutting through the fat, the salt, lifting this wine and making it rich and ripe and full. You know, for myself, I have to say I'm very enthralled with the Torrontés Muscat, the first wine that we've introduced today. But this one has a lot of application. And for your clients that are looking for a white wine that they want to serve to large groups and say they're having a barbecue or a party or anything like that, you know, if they take this Synergy wine, they make it and they put it in a bin of ice, lower the temperature, and show and highlight a little bit of the acidity, it will work with that rich tropical fruit and that kind of floral nuance to create a very, very exciting wine. On its own, a little bit warmer, allowing that generous fruit nature to come out. I think this wine has tremendous applications. It drinks beautifully all on its own. And for me, one of the things I'm most excited about and the work that you do is introducing wine into people's lives. And it's all about the application and where are wines right. And I think that if I was looking at the Synergy, this off-dry example of Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, and Riesling, for me, this would be my new breakfast wine. I think that the sweetness, the generous nature of it makes it ideal for fruit salads and egg dishes. I know that there's a few people out there that are a little shy about drinking wine at breakfast. My advice to those people is always sleep till 10, call it brunch, no one will say a word. But this is an absolutely beautiful and generous white wine, and really will work well with a variety of foods. Even, I tried it with a little bit of that buttered popcorn. I see taking a pork tenderloin and roasting it on the barbecue and brushing it with a little bit of peach jam or apricot jam and having it with this just a little bit cooler, I think would be absolutely delicious. So, the two white wines that we're looking at today, the Muscat Trontes blend from Argentina, a beautiful dry incarnation, very exciting. But this Chardonnay Riesling Pinot Grigio in the off-dry presentation coming from Lodi, this is something for me, I think that you can present to your clients looking for easy drinking, rich, generous, aromatic white wine that is delicious all on its own, will provide incredible drinking pleasure, stone cold, right out of the fridge, 4 degrees Celsius, but warmed up a little bit, has such complexity, layers of fruit that I think that people will really, really love this one.